What's up, guys? Here we are at RFG again, and guess what? We might have to pull the motor out of this thing again. We've started trying to pull the oil pan from underneath. We've dropped the steering rack, as you can see in there, hopefully. And we've drained the oil, and we're about to take the oil pan off. None of us really want to pull this motor again because we've pulled it in and out of here so many times. But it was making a noise, so here we go.
Listen, I'm going to give a clue here now. I don't want any more bullshit anytime during the day from anyone. That includes me. It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody. Want anybody yelling? We get anybody yelling around here anymore today, and then the shit is going to hit the fan.
Thanks for all the support lately, you guys. The channel's been growing a ton, and it's awesome to see. It really makes making the videos easier when you see them doing well and like people enjoying them and all that stuff. We read your comments whenever we can, and there's gonna be some different type of content coming up soon. I know you guys might be getting tired of seeing us just pulling 5.3 and 6-liter motors out of this thing in Rob's driveway. So there is other stuff to come, more racing footage, of course, and stuff with the trucks, and some other stuff you're just gonna have to wait and see. A little update on the GTO here. Rob bought a Le Mans fender that had this body line in better shape than his was, and he's converted it to a GTO fender.
I had to cut the front part off because a Le Mans fender is different than a GTO fender. Welded that piece on, and then I had to do the lower was rusted, so I replaced the lower section. Welded up all the trim holes from the Le Mans emblem and whatnot, and now it's ready to bodywork. We can put her back together.
Hashtag bodywork god.
Bondo rod. Bodywork.
Bondo. Here's the engine in here, if you guys might not have seen that. This car is basically ready to go. He has the interior already. The wheels, brakes, underneath, it's all good to go. It just needs bodywork. And then we'll have to find a new shelf. And Nova update, it's Nova and it's orange and it's right here. Rob thinks he's having an issue with the Mega Squirt that other people are having, where it'd be really rich even though you took a bunch of fuel out of it, and it's actually a problem with the ECM. So he's gonna have to send his box back to Mega Squirt, unfortunately. So that might take some time, but if it's a problem with the ECM, there's no use trying to tune around that. Anyways, back to this shit thing. We're gonna try to drop this oil pan without pulling the motor out of the car.
It feels like there's something right by where the starter is. Nothing? No? Sure? Ouch. Because this side's coming off and that side's not coming off. Like it's loose. Like there's.
Oh yeah, I think there's one here. Where's that?
Yes.
Swivel and whatnot.
Told you.
I just don't want it to fall and go over the fucking place.
There we go.
Alright, now the question is, can we get it past the pickup?
We might have to drop the pickup out.
Also the flex plate there.
Yeah, but I think it'll clear. I think it's probably. Let me get a light and stuff. Like we'll probably have to take that 10 mil at the front.
Yeah, I can see it. Is it just the one?
Yeah, and then there's two
Where's it?
13s, I think, holding it onto the.
Yeah, windage tray.
Can we get at that though?
What?
At the other end?
Probably.
We didn't really get any video of it because, I don't know, such a piss off, but it's definitely making some noise. We thought it was the lifters at first, but the more that we messed with it and ran it, it seemed like the noise in the lifters that there might have been went away, but there's still like a bottom end noise that's there. At least it sounds like that's where it's coming from. So that's why we're doing all this. Now what we're attempting to do is get the oil pickup off with the oil pan still kind of there, so then we can drop the pan because it's in the way.
You know, like there's one hanger here that hangs the pickup tube, and then there's one more further near the front. I really could use someone to hold the oil pan up at the bottom, the back, I mean. What's this one? Even further back.
I expect the comments to be very entertaining, like, you jackasses, you had it out, why didn't you check it, all that stuff. Every other LS junkyard motor we've got has been good, so I don't know. It's just the way you do it, man.
I mean, getting it off is, I guess, kind of one thing. Is there any fucking way of getting it back on?
this bolt that I'm taking off. Wow. If we get it off, then it's got to go back on, right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah. It's just a pain in the ass. Let it go.
Also, the stock rod bolts on these motors are obviously torque to yield, so if you don't have to mess with them, it's best not to. There's a bit of like stock magic from GM as well too. You don't want to mess with.
Just gotta fucking want it. Just turn the car over on its side.
There. Okay, so now what can we do there?
I mean, right there is almost clear, but what's stopping it from coming back?
Is it gonna come or no? Or is it hitting something else now?
Oh, it's better than it was before, but it's gonna come back now. Like if it goes back past it a little bit, and then
Yeah.
the flex plate, like literally, if it would come back another quarter inch, I think it would. The flex plate would fall in the pan, and then I'd be able to lift the back up a bit.
Right. The windage tray is hitting the edge of the oil pan, and the oil pan, being that it's aluminum, has no give to it.
So close.
So close, but yet so far. I mean, can you get it all? Most of those bolts for the windage tray now that it's hanging down there?
Yeah, I can see one. You have one already off. 2, 3, and I can see the one at the front.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking maybe we could take it off. You know, like we'd have to screw with this pan.
Let's try the windage tray.
Guess so. I can get at 2 of the bolts right now. Where's that 13 wrench?
So we're having to take off the windage tray as well to get it out of there. Rob's working on the last bolt right now. How would a like for all this effort?
Who, do you want me to like it or you want them to like it?
Everyone,
Yeah, everyone should
if you're
like
watching this video, think about this effort right now. And when you're done watching it, most likely, you'll have gained the knowledge that you can do this.
it. Or not to do it.
Or not to do it.
Not to waste your fucking time like we are.
Yeah.
Maybe. Possibly.
But we're doing that figuring for you.
Yeah,
And that's got to be worth a free click of a button.
definitely.
And just for clarification, the motor mounts are still fully bolted in. We haven't undone anything up there. It'd probably be easier if we did, but then that kind of defeats a bit of the purpose of doing it this way.
I guess you can call that a set.
Heyo. Wow. Truck oil pan dropped inside of stock Mustang K-member with steering rack drop. YouTube first. Engine still in place. Wow. I kind of thought it'd work with the steering rack out, but there's some confirmation. This motor is a dirty bitch. That one looks good.
Definitely not. I mean, I guess we can't see the other side of it, but you know, usually if one bearing's worn, the other one's worn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first things first, I'm just gonna check them all to try to find one that's like bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, from listening to it, it sounded like it was coming from the back of the engine, whether it was lifter or lower down.
The crank's mint. Like, there's no, I don't see any copper. The crank doesn't have any grooves in it. Like,
What did the oil look like when you drained it? It's okay, I guess.
You still have that old AMS oil? Throw that shit back.
Rob's finished going through all the rod caps now, and all the bearings in the crank, as you heard him say, look good.
and they're super coated with oil, so it's not that there's no oil pressure. Like, oil's dripping on it. Like, the bearings are so, like, you know what I mean?
the bearings are soaked in oil, so it's not like there's no oil getting to them. A bearing right to the copper, super worn, you know, that type of thing. And I'm not seeing anything there.
It could still be the lifters.
All the bearings look nice.
To me, that makes a lot of sense that it'd be the lifter, maybe just because the oil was so dirty in there and getting clogged up and all that shit. So, I guess pulling ahead next. So here's one of the rod bearings. As you can see, it's pretty good. At least nothing that you'd think would cause a knock. In the end, it looks like all the rod bearings are okay. So like we said, all for nothing, just for you guys. And now Rob is torquing them to 45 foot-pounds with the bendy. Because what else would we use?
I'm trying anyways.
There you go.
Okay.
I guess we need some bolts.
Well, first we got to put the pickup tube back on.
Now we're putting the oil pan back in.
Sans windage tray.
Sans windage tray, yes.
Hold on, I got
The windage tray makes it a lot harder to get on and off like this. So we're just leaving it out. So we said fuck it.
We like
basically.
windage.
We like windage, yeah. Windage all day. Clayton's losing tools in the oil pan.
It's all full of oil now.
Here's a rag.
Well, yeah, it's on the wrong side of the fucking pickup.
What?
Ermagerd.
Or is it on the wrong side of the bracket on the pickup? That's the problem, right? This one has to come off again?
Probably.
It's
Yeah,
sticking
yeah.
out this side.
Where's the wrench?
Calm down. Getting it for you. I feel better knowing that it's not the bearings. So I say we'll just take it out and beat on it, whatever.
With a bad lifter?
Yeah, whatever.
That's not good.
It's not a bearing at least.
Well, it's gonna be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but if it's just the lifter's not pumping up. So you need that BTR cam kit.
You've got huge lash.
And then we'll throw a cam in there. But see,
Yeah,
that's the
BTR,
thing.
where's the sponsorship?
I checked all the lifters.
Ah.
And none of them are loose. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing with excessive lash or anything. That's the weird thing. But it must be when they're plunging that it just can't hold the pressure or something. Do you know what I mean? Is what I'm guessing anyways.
Well, it's tight. It won't go through.
You gotta pull it down on it.
It won't pull down because the ear side's tight.
We'll try it.
Well, I just did. It's tight as fuck.
Oh, Clayton.
Me?
You were in charge of that gasket.
You saw the gasket hanging out as much as I did.
But I thought it was on the right side of the thing.
Fuck.
Because you're supposed to be in charge of that.
No, I was not.
You're supposed to be, though.
What kind of undercoating's out here? It's all nice and shiny and...
The underbody of the shin horse is protected by a film of oil.
Castrol.
Yeah. You can see we actually have a drive shaft loop if you look closely. You might be able to see the marks on the drive shaft from hitting the loop. In general, it's pretty dirty under here.
That's a 4-cylinder spec drive shaft.
Yeah, that's actually one of the sketchiest things about this car. It
Yeah.
still has the 4-cylinder drive shaft in it.
I think they were the same. Maybe. Are you out yet?
Almost.
It's not even moving up and down. What the fuck?
How about now?
Yeah.
Get it?
Hold on.
Okay. I know to screw it up this time.
That was 110% Rob.
No, it wasn't.
We got the oil pan all bolted back on, minus the windage tray like we were saying. I got the turbo drain back on there. Next is to put the steering rack back in place, which Clayton undid earlier.
Oh shit. What?
When you're doing shitty work like this on LS motors, it's really important to eat good. Keeps the morale up.
Apparently my dead blow hammer is all broken. Oh no, this one came off. Look at this.
Ford is just so good. We're just assholes for putting a Chevy in here.
Yeah.
According to Ford guys.
Poor Ford, guys.
Ford is lame.
There's enough of these junk turd Mustangs around, they can put their Mustang motors in.
Why don't you guys coyote swap some Mustang 2 cars? Maybe some Gias. That was a classic Ford right there. Our plan basically is to take off the valve cover on the passenger side here, because we figure that's which one is making the noise. At least I do. And we're gonna squirt some carb cleaner down into the lifter holes. Because at this point, with the rod bearings looking good, things point to a stuck lifter making our noise, or maybe something else. The fun never ends with these things, you know? So, who knows? At idle, it's pretty quiet, but once he loads you'll hear it. Definitely sounds like it could be a lifter.
Well, I mean, can't be the rod bearings because they're all good.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll come through in the camera at all. If you listen from down below, it does sound kind of loud, like you'd think it's coming from down there. But it also does sound like it from the top. For my ear, it sounds like over there, a lifter is no good.
Well, we'll try spraying stuff in there, and then if not, we'll pull the head off, I guess.
Yeah. I actually did this method on my S15 when it was making noise after sitting for a winter. You just spray carb cleaner down into the lifter and it loosens it up, hopefully. So after all of today's activities, it looks like we're basically at the same place with the car making a bit of noise, and we don't know what. Probably the lifter. We ruled out the rod bearings at this point. We'll probably end up working on this thing on Wednesday, I assume. Will probably be the day. So we'll let you know what's up then. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and share with your friends, and we'll talk to you later.
Let us get the fuck out of here. Do you believe any of that shit?